Hey, what's up, North County? I'm your host, Randy Doty, and today we're going to deep dive into Mid-Coast Mower and Saw in Atascadero with Margaret Wicks. Thanks for coming in.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, for sure. I'm excited. Been a long time trying to get you in here.
Yeah, it's
right?
Scheduling seems to be, it's like, oh yeah, that'll work. Oh no, that won't work now because we'll reschedule for a different time. So no, this actually worked out pretty good.
Well, I mean, being a self-employed, business owner, it's not as glorified as one would think.
No, there's a lot that goes into making the day-to-day operations happen and try to keep things running smoothly. And it's certain days everything just goes great. Other days it seems like somebody just came in and just turned the whole barrel upside down and shook it, and it's like, what happened here? This is not
crazy.
Good. So it like I said, and a lot of changes since COVID happened, and most of that has passed us now and everything. But that was a different time. It was a different time for everybody, and but it changed a lot of our supply lines with our vendors, with our manufacturers, and I honestly don't know if they ever recovered 100% from that.
Yeah.
Because it was such a battle to get them completely back up online again with, of course, their people and how they're getting everything ready to, in California special. So they have to manufacture many of their products specifically for California. And some products are 50 state approved, but not all of them. And then, of course, more recently, we're dealing with the battery product versus gas-powered product, and that's a problem.
Is that still kind of going back and forth? You think so? Because I remember the last time, and I want to touch on this, but since we're on it, we'll touch on it right now. But because I remember, like 2 years ago, when the whole law was coming down the.
So it was supposed to go into effect, which it did, in January of 2024, if I remember correctly. That should be right. Any product that had been built prior to January 2024 could continue to be sold as gas-powered product until we exhausted the manufacturer's inventory. And so we bought heavily in 2020.
I remember that.
Yeah, heavily.
You're buying from everybody, all over,
heavily
as much as you could.
Yeah, in 2023, we had about twice the amount of inventory that we would normally have when you can easily reorder. Okay, we're running low on this, fine. I'm going to get another order in, and we'll get another 40 units, 50 units, whatever the case may be. But that wasn't going to be the case. I mean, we got off-site storage. We purchased 2 containers so that we would have our own storage.
Wow.
And which, it worked fine. And, we had a lot of especially tree people and your bigger landscape companies and stuff. Well, some of your smaller ones too.
And they're all pre-buying.
They're pre-buying a lot. They pre-bought a lot. Then last year, around August or September, right in there, one of the manufacturers came and said to the effect, and I don't know what the trigger point was, but they said that we've got a waiver in with the state of California. And they are going to allow us to bring back a certain amount of models that we had now run out of for California. I couldn't get them anymore. I had the inventory I had sold it all. So it wasn't the full line of what we had, but we were able to start getting that product last year.
Like which products?
So that would be your blowers, your trimmers, your weed trimmers, some chainsaws. Top handle chainsaws are a hot ticket because there's
so some of your landscaping
absolutely
items.
So initially when it started out, chainsaws were going to be everything 45 cc's and above stays in the mix, gas powered, no problem. But all of your professional top handle saws are less than 45 cc's for Steel, Husqvarna, and Echo. So we were going to lose all of our gas-powered top handle saws.
Wow.
And that was not going over very well with our tree guys. And trimmer-wise, so for our weed trimmers, was going to be 40 cc's and above. We're going to continue to stay in the mix, but still our most popular model is a 25 cc model. So we were going to lose all of that stuff down on the bottom end and only have these big brush cutter rated.
How did they justify the CC? You know what I'm saying? I mean, if they're trying to eliminate gas, I'm probably,
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
I know exactly. We could never get what the real justification was on, okay, one particular product, chainsaws, is going to be 45 cc and above will be allowed. Trimmers, going to be 40 cc's and above. All blowers, no matter if they were handheld or backpack, doesn't matter what cc. All blowers were out. All hedge trimmers were out. Pole saws stayed in, so the pole saw, the pruning saws, and then like the cutoff saws, they stayed in. Let's see what else got to stay in. And the cc's didn't matter. So it's like, I don't know, somebody makes sense of this. And my opinion on it is when they were at the state, and I know California landscape contractors went and said, postpone this. Give us more time, give the manufacturers more time to get this product up to a better, a better productivity, I guess. When you run out of gas in a gas-powered piece of equipment, you put more gas in it and you go. Obviously, if you don't have gas with you, you can't refill the machine and continue to do what you're doing. Battery power is just a different animal. There is a use for battery power out there, but I don't think it should be a mandate that says you can't have it. They weren't going to make you quit using it, but they were, we can't get what we used to be able to get either. So it's a real hot button issue with me. I had this conversation almost on a daily basis during the spring, last year and this year, because I feel that there are a lot of people out there that feel like, oh, this is a great thing because we're not having any emissions. The only time so when you're not having an emission when you're running the machine, but it's not a zero footprint product. Mm-hmm. The footprint is happening in getting the lithium, the cadmium, the nickel, all of that beforehand.
We've seen those big craters.
And the footprint is happening with the disposal of spent batteries. And I have yet to get a straight answer from any manufacturer and or the state that can tell me where these batteries really go and what they really do with them. Mm-hmm. And so I get pretty perturbed. It's just going to be my grandkids, who are 6.5, 3.5, and almost 2, that are going to be looking around and going, what did they do? We have all this hazardous waste product now with lithium in it, and we have to dispose of it. You have to dispose of it somewhere, properly or improperly. And like I said, I feel like, unfortunately, a lot of human nature is, it's just one battery.
Oh, sure.
It's just one.
Right.
I'm just going to throw it in the trash. I'm not going to go take it to a recycling. So, there are places in Atascadero that you can take a battery that's no good anymore. Well, they're not doing the recycling. They're sending it, off to somebody that is a recycler. Mm-hmm. But again, nobody is sharing that information. And that really bothers me because I don't even know that the state really knows.
Or if they're really doing it, if it's not just something. Yeah.
And there we have the rub.
Because, I'll be honest, I've seen trash trucks pick up the trash and then into the one truck and put the recycling trash into the same bin.
Well, that's a problem.
So I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah. So I mean, like I said, you know, and the landfill isn't designed to police the trash bags that are coming in that are going into the landfill to say, oh, did anybody throw their spent batteries, meaning their lithium batteries? I mean, years and years ago, I mean, you know, a flashlight battery, okay, not a big deal, you know, just went in the trash. Oh, heavens, not anymore. I mean, mine are all lined up in the garage in baskets and stuff. So, you know, fluorescent tubes, batteries that are, you know, no good anymore. You know, I take them, so I feel like I'm doing my due diligence. You know, electronic waste, you know, computer monitors or, you know, whatever. I take that to electronic waste. But again, I don't know where this stuff goes. Where does it really go? What are we really doing with it? And that's, like I said, that's a problem for me. And
you know, it's funny, we were just talking about this earlier that, you know, nowadays, you know, we used to be so naive as a generation to where we would just accept what everybody said, right? Oh, this is what happens. Oh, great. You know, this is what happens. But now we've become more educated and want to know real answers, not just what you're telling me.
No, that's just it. And that I think has evolved over the last 5 years.
100%.
I know that, you know, I used to, you know, I'm probably 20 years older than you are. But, you know, I used to take, there were certain people, you know, doctors, you know, newscasters, you know, the Huntley and Brinkley days, you know, Walter Cronkite days. And anybody that's watching this are going, who is she talking about?
And there you have it, the rest of the story.
Exactly. But I mean, you know, these were people that I thought, oh my gosh, you know, the reporting on, you know, this, that, and the other. And then, and I'm accepting all of this. Okay, they're telling what happened at this, you know, particular event, whatever happened, and like I said, that ship sailed in 2020 for me, big time.
And that's about the time when everybody started educating themselves.
It's like,
because we didn't know really. I mean, I don't know about you, but during that time, the COVID thing, it was like, what is going on? What is it? Is this? Am I really living in this
no,
world?
You're right. Right. We're in 2020. We have the most, or what the most, you know, the highest level of technology available. You feel like we should have the smartest and most educated scientists, you know, that are, you know, in relationship to healthcare and all of these kinds of stuff. And it's like, and why is this happening to us? And I mean, it took me a while, and I finally pretty much went, you know, 2 and 2 equals 4 here. 2 and 2 will always equal 4. This is just not adding up.
Right.
It is just not adding up for me. And so I, you know, it's like I said, I mean, I quit watching national news. Like I said, anything that had to do with politics, protests, and COVID. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing it. I'm going to, you know, keep my family close. we're going to run this business, and we're going to do what we do.
Yeah.
And I will block out that background noise, because I said, I can't absorb all this information and try to make it make sense. It's just,
yeah.
And I'm not a scientist. I'm not an attorney. I'm not, I don't have that level of education, but it made me question a lot of things. A lot of things.
Well, Marge, tell me how did you guys get started in this? So this is what, 35 years?
Right. We will, in November 1st, we will complete 35 years of business.
So November will be a 35-year anniversary.
Correct.
Wow, congratulations.
So, well.
In Atascadero, mind you. In the same location.
Same location, wow. 35 years. So my husband, Rick, who's holding down the fort today, along with our people, he started out in early 1978 with Glenn's Repair, with the original Glenn Ferguson in Atascadero.
Wow.
And he said, I think I might want to do this. I think I might want to do this. So he worked for Glenn for a period of time, and Glenn eventually sold to the other mechanic that worked for him at the time, Steve Sweet. And Rick continued to work with him for a period of time.
In that original location?
In that original location.
That's so crazy.
And then he was offered a position with El Camino Farm Supply, which is the Kubota dealer, but they also had small engines, chainsaws, trimmers, and things like that, and that's what they wanted Rick for, is they wanted him to handle all the chainsaw, the sales, trimmers, blowers, and the repairs. So he worked for them. That's about the time. That's when we got married. We got married in 1986. Oh my gosh, I almost did that wrong. So he worked for them, and then we had an opportunity. I was working for C. Dunn Incorporated, a home builder, and we had an opportunity that we never really saw where we were going to actually be able to build a house. We were going to have a brand new house. I mean, it wasn't going to be big. It wasn't going to be, over the top or anything like that. But we built a home, and through all of that, he had actually gone to work for Noble Saw in the location we are currently at. And Noble wanted a second store because they had a store in San Luis, and they said the only way they'll open a second store was if Rick would come to work for them. Well, at about the 1 year mark of having the second store, Tim from Noble Saw was making noise that, I don't know that I want this second store anymore. Anyway, we struck a deal at about 1.5 years in, and we took the business over in November 1st of 1990 and changed the name to Midcoast. And Rick was a one-man show for probably over 5 years. Then he did get a parts person that came in that worked, and it took me 10 years to get there full time. And because we had expanded, the business was growing, and I had to pick my poison here. I needed to concentrate on the business.
Now, at one point, I mean, because I know, over the 35 years, I mean, obviously a lot has changed in Atascadero. Yes. You've had, growth, explosion of growth from the 70s to, to now.
Yeah.
Corporations.
Yep. It is. It's a lot of people that come to our business because we are a niche. We are a need-based business. And people also come because of Rick, because he's really, really good at what he does. And he's got that, you'll get customers that call and they'll say, my machine's doing this. And I said, okay, hold on a second. I'll go back and said, hey, so-and-so's on the phone, his machine's doing this. What can he check before we have to bring the machine in? Tell him to do this or that, So I'll go back, and then the guy will call back, maybe. Hey, just tell him it worked, But he just knows this stuff.
Just by the simple detail of what's happening.
He has done so much of it. He knows particular models have particular issues. Tell him, Honda generators, if you don't have the right oil level in those things, no go. It's a problem. So check your oil level. Too full, too little, it's going to be a problem. Check your spark plug, clean air filters, and that's on any piece of equipment. Check your spark plug. Do you have gas in it? It won't start. Did you check to make sure you have gas in it?
The simple thing.
So, and that does happen every now and then. We've had machines come in that have diesel in them. They have kerosene in them.
Oh,
they've got bar oil in the gas side of the chainsaw and vice versa, because somebody got confused and didn't check which well was for which product. So we get bar oil in the gas side. And
do you think your business, has it always been more repairs versus sales?
Not really, but we are the full circle. So if somebody, because I've had people ask me, what's the percentage? Well, so like I said, so we're basically full service. We will sell parts to you if you want to do your own repair. We will repair your piece of equipment, because we do have mechanics that do that. And like I said, Rick does this full time. And then if for some reason you choose not to repair, or you want to add to your line of equipment, or whatever that situation is, then we have a new selection. So again, you can try to pick what works for you. So when I started, even when I was only there part-time at the very beginning, Rick's telling me, you can sell this stuff. You can sell this stuff. I said, oh, no, no, because I know nothing about that part of it. And I said, and I do not want to go out there and be dumb. And that, it took me a while. But after listening to Rick and to our parts manager, who had a huge background in power equipment, you pick up on this stuff. You pick up on what they're looking for and everything. And I mean, there was a time I could look at things, on the wall, and I knew what was on the wall. I knew how many we had in the back. I knew all the prices. I don't know all the prices anymore because we've gone through a lot of price fluctuation in the last few years. And with all these tariffs and things that are coming now, of course, we're seeing some of that stuff start to filter through because we're getting letters from the manufacturers about every 30 or 60 days, price increase, okay, fine. So that's floating all the time as to what we can buy product for, and then what we have to be able, to sell it for to still have a storefront and make it make sense.
Right.
And we sell product that we service. Any piece of equipment, which we refer to as a whole good, is a serialized product. And when Randy Doty comes in and wants to buy a saw, then Randy Doty's name goes in with a name and an address and a phone number, and that piece of equipment with the serial number. It's all, we've got all those records. And before we had the system that we have now for sales, I used to manually input that information into my QuickBooks program. So if Randy Doty came back in in 1997 when I started doing this, I could go back to Randy Doty's name and I would have put an entry in and said, this is the date, this was the model he bought, and this was the serial number that he bought.
But I mean, so you're referencing and you're mentioning a lot of reason why, you guys are local.
We are.
Your hometown, born and raised. You're born and raised in the North County.
Correct.
You've been in business for 35 years, and obviously Rick has been in this for much longer.
Correct.
So, I mean, this is really where the value of buying local, shopping local, supporting local really comes in, is you're not necessarily there for, I can buy that saw $20 cheaper, at the big box store. Correct. But what you're buying is you're really buying that call up. Hey, can you find out this here, I'm dead in the water. Yeah, do this, then another, and it works.
It doesn't always work, obviously. But I mean, if somebody is a repeat customer with us, and we have a relationship with them, and they call and they are basically dead in the water on a certain item, Rick will do whatever he can to try to get them up and going again in a short amount of time. And I mean, our single biggest consumer collectively is homeowners. But it's, like I said, it's all those homeowners collectively. That's our single biggest customer. We have tree companies that we deal with that are local people. They're very, very good customers of ours. We have several, local landscape companies, one out of Paso, one out of Templeton. Also, local people that are, a fairly good size. They're really, really good accounts for us. They buy a bunch of equipment from us, their repairs and everything. Some people have the expertise to where they want to do their own repairs. I don't have a problem with that, We had to, so 3 years ago, because springtime is our busiest time of year, if we've had a lot of rain, you will see us get backed up 5 to 6 weeks for a repair, which is, I know, untenable for a lot of consumers. Mm-hmm. But it does happen. So what we started to do, and people learned from it. People really, really learned from it. We had to start taking stuff by appointment, because up until 3 years ago, anybody that brought something in, we just kept taking it in, and we stored it in our building. And our building isn't that big. So after you've done this for about 3 weeks, and the piece of equipment that you need is the furthest thing.
Way in the back.
Right. Is the furthest thing in the pile, the furthest thing back there that you've got to get to. You might spend 5 minutes finding it, which that's not terrible. But sometimes you could spend 10 to 15 minutes getting a piece of equipment out to where you can work on it, and it just wasn't efficient. Mm-hmm. And plus, like I said, 3 years ago, mowers and everything, we would have mowers that were to be worked on, along with new equipment that's in the front of the showroom area. We would have to push all of those mowers to be worked on clear up into the front, into the showroom every night. And then every morning, they all got pushed back out to be worked on. Jeez. But when we started taking the stuff during our busiest time by appointment, and we remind people, hey, you've got an appointment coming up, just so you know, we need to get it in here. And it actually has worked pretty well. They've been pretty receptive. We also started closing on Saturdays. The end of 2020.
Oh, really?
Yep.
So you're closed on the weekends?
We are closed on the weekends after 30 years of being open on half a day on Saturday. And
do you feel like you lost anything from that?
Well, the numbers would not indicate so.
Really?
But you have to remember, this was during COVID. A lot of people were doing their own yards, their own gardening. People were planting gardens that hadn't planted gardens before. Again, people were home more, so they were doing their own yards. So it did not touch our numbers as far as that goes. Huh. But it was one of our key employees. She had left in our good graces. And so that meant that either Rick and I, or at that time our son Morgan was working for us, that 2 of the 3 of us would have to be at the shop on Saturdays. And we had actually closed during the beginning of COVID because of all the regulations and everything, because we were considered essential support to essential services. Because, of course, my fear in that March was, are we going to have to close?
Right.
So, I'm on the phone to the health, first I called the city of Atascadero, and I said, you need to call the health department in San Luis. So I called the health department, and after a little bit of back and forth, they said, no, I explained what we do and who we're servicing, and, it's the state, it's the county, it's the cities, it's the school districts, which of course the kids weren't in school, but they said, no, you're essential support to essential services. Okay, here we go. So we changed our hours temporarily. We were open from 9 to 4. We were there from 8 to 5, but we were putting equipment together at 8 o'clock in the morning from 8 to 9. Then all of the regular people could, come in. But of course, they're masking, we're distancing, we're doing all of this. And by the time, I can't even say things calmed down, but when we lost Ashley in July that year, we had started opening on Saturdays again. And I said, I kind of like that no working on Saturdays thing, kind of like that.
I like that no working on Saturday thing,
Kind of like that thing, So it took some months. And Rick says, but we've always been open. We've always been open. And I said, and so, do you want to go down and man the store on Saturdays? And he was not, he had a really hard time with it. I didn't have as hard of a time with it.
Well, because it's a service thing,
it is.
And he's been doing that for so long and been
true.
that serviceable person, on Saturdays, that's when everybody's outside in the yard. They need some help. They need to, buy something.
And we put it out there, and in many, many, many cases, people said, you know what, good for you that you're taking the weekend off, meaning that you're going to be closed on that day too. Of course, we got some pushback from different people at different times. Oh, we tried to come and get, this or that or whatever. And I get it. I mean, I get it. It's not convenient when you're used to having that available to you. But for us personally, it's been great.
You need your sanity too.
Well, that's true. It just made it a lot better because, like I said, we spend a lot of half days down there, and we've got a home and some property to take care of, and it's
family and kids and
right.
grandkids.
So
and
yeah, our first
absolutely.
granddaughter was born in 2019, and so we had our first grandchild, and our second followed 3 years later, and then we got our surprise one 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago.
Wow!
So we got 3 granddaughters.
Well, congratulations!
Oh yeah, they're the best. They are the best.
So Marge, tell me about what products do you carry down there?
So we
name brand stuff.
Yeah. So we have Husqvarna, Steel, Echo, and Toro, and
which are the main ones.
I would say so.
Okay.
I mean, there are other ones out there, but they've always been in the store. That's product we've always had. Stuff that, years ago we had BCS tillers and stuff, and those are an Italian great product. But things evolve, businesses sell, and you can't get the same availability on products.
But these are the trusted names.
These are the trusted names. I mean, like I said,
Rick can work on them all.
They do. He does. He works on all of that stuff. I'm the paper pusher. I try to keep everything organized and that kind of stuff. We've got good people that know the product. I only get pulled out on the floor when we are so busy, typically during the spring, and I can sell. I don't. That's not a problem. I can sell. They get too far above my pay scale, which is technical stuff, and I'll just say, you know what? Hold on, let me ask, because I don't know it all. And like I said, when they start talking, what pistons are lined with, and I got nothing.
What I like about Midcoast Mower and Saw, which we're talking about here in Atascadero, is you guys give the honest opinions. You guys give the honest answers. When somebody comes in for a product, you're not trying to push, because I've bought things before in the past. You're not trying to push something I don't need.
Nope. We try really, really hard, and this has kind of been the mantra. We're trying to match the product to what the person's job is going to be, what they're trying to accomplish, and trying to accomplish it with the budget that they have to do it. And, I've had people come in, well, we need to get a mower. Okay, well, what are you going to be doing? Well, we're going to be mowing weeds. Okay, you don't need to spend $300 on a weed mower. Oh, but we just want to buy it from you. Okay, thank you. Mm-hmm. Thank you very much. And we will have people.
That's heartwarming,
but
though.
People will still do it. And, years past, when battery versus gas was not even in the conversation at the time, I said, you can buy a less expensive mower if you're going to just mow weeds with it. You need to go, to A, B, or C. There'll be less money. Yeah, we know, but we like I said, some people would, and I wasn't offended by that. But there were some people saying, no, we would just rather buy it from you.
All right.
Thank you.
There you go.
So, it's
that's nice.
Yeah. So I mean,
that's what hometown's about.
We've got a really good customer base. We have a ton of repeat customers. It's evolved over the years. The technology involved. I never thought I would be so reliant on the technology that I deal with, and I am not a technology person. I'm kind of a dodo when it comes to technology. I mean, I can do it. But and now, emails and, on your cell phone and, all of this kind of stuff.
That becomes overwhelming too.
Well, it does. So. It does. But like I said, 20 years ago, I didn't see that. Mm-hmm. It's like, well, I'm never going to have to do that. I won't ever be that reliant on that. Oh my gosh, the internet goes down now and you're dead in the water, Yeah,
absolutely.
The power's off down there. You can't sell anything to speak of. It's just the way it was. I mean, when he started, they were writing counter tickets for what they sold. And, they had a cash register. Like I said, everything, I was ledgering everything at the time, 35 years ago. Everything was by hand ledger, which works perfectly fine. But today, to keep up with it the way it is, and like I said, the communication back and forth and everything that you have to be able to accomplish, in today's world, whether it's with vendors or customers or whatever the case may be. You know, you've got to have that available to you.
Yeah.
So,
Marge, where does somebody? Are you guys online? How does people find you? Give me website, Midcoast Mower, or let's see, midcoastmower.com. We don't do online ordering or anything like that. We are still old school. We're face to face. You can call us to see if we have a part or a model in stock if that's something that you want. If it's not something that we have in stock as far as a part goes, if you want to order it and it's available, because like I said, availability these days is kind of hit and miss. It just depends. Mm-hmm. Sometimes no issue, and then sometimes, oh no, that part, we've already got those parts on order. They've been on back order for 60 days. Well, what the hell? What happened here? So we have seen that, and there were certain things that we ran into after the COVID debacle and all of that, that's like, why are we not able to, we can't get these fuel filters, we can't get this, we can't get that. What is going on here? So, call us. We're on El Camino between Kerberville and Santa Rosa. Been at the same location.
Yep.
Come November for 35 years.
Yep. Completes 35 years.
Open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5?
8 to 5.
8 to 5?
Yep, we're there.
Full service?
Yep.
Only on the certain products, and again, the product brand that you guys have?
Husqvarna, Steel, Echo, and Toro. We still have a really, really good selection of gas-powered product for those people that are choosing to not go to the battery product. So we have managed to keep that product, the majority of that product available. Not every single model that I would like to have, but we still have a good selection. And if it was a particular model that you liked in the past, but I can't get it any longer, we can pretty much offer a good alternative. So,
and there's a little tiny bit of a light that might be at the end of the tunnel of this whole gas versus electric thing.
We've heard only rumors, nothing confirmed, that it could go away. I'm not going to hold my breath on that. But like I said, I think it should be up to the individual as to what works for them. And then I think anybody that's buying battery product, and it's not cheap to boot. Consumer product is cheap. Professional product is not cheap. You go with a battery, which we call a backpack battery. So it's about the size of a laptop computer. One battery runs anywhere from about $1,100 to $1,500 for one battery, and that's not an all-day supply.
No.
And yes, you can buy a lot of gasoline for $1,100, but it's not all an output at that moment. And then of course we have the disposal, and then you'll get the argument of fossil fuels and everything. I said, but in the last 25 years, the tiers that the manufacturers had to go through to reach all these CARB standards, California Air Resources Board, to keep their equipment in the mix, and I referred to them as dirty burners, that if they didn't reach a certain plateau with them, they got nixed after a couple of years. So if certain models didn't meet it, then they had to come up with a new model that was cleaner, or it went out of their line. And the manufacturers had all different kinds of answers to that. Some of them, came up with a hybrid product, basically, different technology with the engines and how they burn their fuel and everything. And like I said, I'm not that person. I'm not the mechanical person. But like I said, to me, they know what they're doing. And my husband is a small gas engine mechanic. That's what he does.
That's what makes Midcoast Mower saw.
That's right. So
awesome.
That's like I said, he said, and that's what I do. That's what he does, and I'm the backup support there. So
Awesome. Well, Marge, this was fun.
Okay.
Oh my God. I mean, we could go on for hours here.
We could.
We're going to have you in for part 2.
Oh, there you go. Storytelling.
I mean, gosh, I didn't even get to the questions that I had in my mind.
My employees make fun of me that I will talk to customers, and when I get done, and I will, and if I have the time and somebody's wanting to carry on this conversation, and I will get into the storytelling mode, they will. Especially when my son was still there, Mom, you're filibustering out there. What are you doing? What are you doing? And I said, I get to do it. They can't fire me.
Right.
I said, what are they going to do?
You got job security.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So, certain days it'd be okay if they did.
Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Appreciate it.
This was awesome. Congratulations on coming up 35 years in November. Once again, Midcoast Mower and Saw open 8 to 5 Monday through Friday.
Correct.
Same location on El Camino, south end of Atascadero.
Correct.
Across from Valley Fitness area.
One of the fitness centers.
Down there, close to Kerberell.
Correct.
Awesome.
Great.
Well, thanks again for coming on. And we'll have to get Rick on next time. Hear about the...
he would probably do that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You can stay back and work, and he can come on.
That's true.
There you go.
I could do that.
Awesome.
I'll let him. I'll be happy to.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Appreciate it.
Well, there you have it, guys. Hey, you guys need that small equipment repaired or buying a brand new one? Check out Midcoast Mower and Saw at Atascadero, south end of Atascadero. You can reach them out 805-466-2323, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. Small town, support local, buy local, and shop local. But as always, guys, we can't do this without you and our sponsors. We'd like to thank Escalar Wine Travelers Hideaway, Visit Atascadero, 805 Customs, MGP Coating, Premier Ag, Trailer Barn, Story Termite Pest Control, Borehone Auto Center, Kennedy Club Fitness, Airflow Filter Services, and Templeton Heating and Air. Thanks again, guys. We'll see you next time. When it comes to comfort, trust the team that's been keeping the North County homes cozy since 1995. At Templeton Heating and Air Conditioning, they're your hometown pros right here in Templeton. From tune-ups to repairs, remodels to new construction, even duct replacements and attic ventilation, they got you covered. Call your neighbors at 805-434-3741. Templeton Heating and Air Conditioning. Local, trusted, dependable.
Hi, I'm Glenn McWilliams.
And I'm Annie. As sixth-generation farmers, we understand what it takes to keep a ranch, a farm, and a community growing strong.
And that's why we started Premier Ag, to bring quality feed, trusted Western wear, and real service to the Central Coast.
From hay delivery across the county to hands-on support for local youth and ag programs, we're proud to give back to the community that raised us.
And when we say from seed to stable, we mean it. We've walked the fields, we've fed the animals, and now we're here to serve families just like yours.
Come visit us at 1041 Paso Robles Street in Paso Robles and experience the difference of a store built by farmers for farmers.
From seed to store, where quality meets country.
Hi, this is Dave Story, small game hunter with Story Termite and Pest. We're a full-service termite and pest control company. From rodents to termites, we can take care of all your pest control needs. Call today, we can tailor a pest control program that will meet your needs and budget. Contact us at 805-460-0650 or at storytermite.com. Remember, we don't have customers, we have friends.
Looking for a top quality concrete coating in SLO County? Hi, I'm Matt Gifford with MGP Coatings, your trusted local expert in durable, long-lasting concrete coatings backed by Pentec's limited lifetime warranty. Whether it's residential or commercial, we deliver expert craftsmanship, premium products, and unbeatable customer service. When we say we make concrete great again, we mean it. As a locally owned, community-driven company, we take pride in transforming garages, patios, pool decks, wineries, and even interior spaces into stunning, functional areas. Are you ready to upgrade your space? Give us a call at 805-952-5301. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram, or visit mattgiffordpainting.com. Join the MGP Coating family today.
What's up, North County? This is Teresa Branch with Airflow Filter Service. We are a family-owned business right here in the North County. We have air filters, oils and lubricants, and hydraulic hoses. We provide services that include air filter cleaning, DPF cleaning, and waste oil collection. Come check us out at 1140 Ramada Drive, and we can help you with all your automotive and industrial vehicle needs.
Atascadero isn't your standard getaway. We're unique, just like you. We're growing, transforming, and figuring it out as we go. We're a town filled with innovators, artists, makers, and game changers. We're a little bit country, a little bit funky, and always authentic. We're here for your good times, your slow times, and your changing times. We're all in Atascadero. Come see for yourself. Learn more at visitatascadero.com.